Hello all, it's Rackman John here. I'm in the interesting situation that my entire family has been struck with the plague. I myself am sick, but have not tested positive, so I'm kind of stuck in place. Hence, I thought I'd run you up a quick video for today. But if you're wondering why my voice is sounding a bit weird, it's because I'm just getting over what appears to just be a head cold. Although everyone else in my household has COVID, so we'll see how that turns out. Anyway, I'm not sure if you're familiar with what we'll be doing today, but it's known as a tier list. Tier lists are an interesting way of organizing your preferences, and these are personal preferences, so please don't get shirty at me in the comments. I've devised 5 tiers, and I'll be putting into them 38 of the greatest pianists, or so-called greatest pianists of all time. These have been collated from the 3 top search results, at least where I live, for that topic. I've only taken ones from the recording era, and we'll be splitting them into 5 tiers. So we've got the top tier, got Rackman approved certified. Rackman approved certified. So this is what is commonly referred to as the S tier, so these are the best of the best in my opinion. They've got great artists who make awesome sounds. This is the A tier, so seal of approval from me. We've got the good but no Paderewski, and this is the B tier. So we've got middling, I would say no better than an average concert pianist. And then we've got doesn't belong, so this is where I start to think, I don't think they're really great pianists at all. Again, just my opinion. So, shall we begin? Let's do so. So, we've got Myra Hess first up. Now, Myra Hess is a very interesting case. I very much like her Beethoven, and I think anyone with an ear does. She's quite a restrained player at times, so I feel like I'll put her into good but no Paderewski. She's not really a favourite of mine to listen to. I'm more like a more spontaneous approach to Beethoven, but can't please them all, particularly not me. Next up, we've got the judge himself, Svetoslav Richter. Richter. He's been on my favourites list. I think I'd replace him these days, but he's still absolutely, a legend of the instrument. There's nowhere else that I can put him except for A tier. Possibly leaking over into S, but I'll put him at the very top of the A tier. So, yes. King, I believe. I would put him alongside Hess. So he's one of those old school, withdrawn, necessary landmark pianists from the dawn of the recording era. I very much enjoy his playing, but it doesn't really beckon me to come forward and listen to it. It's that old kind of unassuming, no frills style of approach, which I appreciate unto itself, but it doesn't appeal to me quite as much. Maybe if I grow some hair on my chest. Who knows? Argreck. Argreck, we love Argreck. Well, most of us do. I don't like her quite enough to put her into the top tier, but she can buddy up with Richter right at the top. As can Rubinstein. Now, this is Arthur Rubinstein, not any of the really good ones. Sorry, Rubinstein. No, I love Rubinstein. I think he's about as serious and consummate professional as a pianist as you can get before you start crossing over into artistic stagnation, or rather start risking it. There's plenty of people who went further who I still quite enjoy. Rubinstein's going in the top tier. I can't really think of a way around it. Now, we've got Barenboim. Now, the photo is of him as a conductor, and that's very much what I think his calling should be. because he's meticulous. He's not particularly impassioned. I don't like him. The best thing he ever did was get Argreck to play the piano again after she had a early career crisis. I appreciate all the diplomat work he does. I appreciate everything he does except for music, which I suppose isn't the kindest thing I could say about a musician. But he's simply stuffy, and I don't like it. Bottom tier. Right, moving on to Brendel. I love Brendel. Well, I appreciate Brendel, I should say. I love his Schubert. His Beethoven's sometimes a little cloying, I'd say. But I haven't found someone who could beat him on the late pieces of Schubert, just as an overall conceptualist. So I'm gonna put him just a little bit above Argreck. Hope you don't mind. Arau. Claudio Arau. Now, I like what he tries to do. He's very much occupying the position of an elder statesman of interpretation. In Beethoven, it works, I suppose, but he does it to Liszt as well. It seems like, yeah, he drained away all his fire that gave him the Liszt Prize back in his youth, and Liszt can be played slowly. I like slow Liszt, but floppy Liszt, I simply don't have much of a taste for. He goes a little bit above King. Cortot is S tier, definitely. He's got my seal of approval. This channel wouldn't exist without him. Me as a musician wouldn't exist without him. Simply one of the greatest poets to have ever touched the instrument. Edwin Fisher sounds great in principle. I've never been particularly drawn to any of his playing, I'm afraid. So until someone points out to me exactly what I'm missing, I will put him in middling. I'm sorry. Friedman. Oh dear. Probably should have waited another day to do this, but, you know. I'm putting Friedman. Now, I haven't heard too much from him. Just his fourth ballad recording and the Tannhauser Overture, but he's going straight into the great artists. So good. Gilels. Now, this is possibly mean of me to say, but Gilels was punching up in the marriage department. He married Rosa Temikina, who's not on any of these lists, and I resent them for it. I would have, if it came to me, I would have sacrificed all of Gilels' career for another year of Temikina. Although, yeah, don't call me a simp or anything. Good, but no Paderewski. Gould is S tier. It's just a statement of fact. There's not really much I can say for or against him. He's simply just Gould. I'm just kidding. I just quite like the way he plays Bach. It's not Bach, but I've never been one for authenticity. I prefer to feel something. Sorry, authentic lovers. Right, Grosvenor, or I don't know, it's a British name. One of the few child prodigies who justifies their own existence and has actually grown up to be something quite great. I will see more of that later. I'll put him a little bit below Arau. He's got a very nice recording of Gaspard de la Nuit, and at the age of 15 also played the Scarlatti D minor sonata, the famous one, incredibly well. I think it's even faster than Argreck's, and that's difficult. I should record that sometime. I've got it learned, I just get skittish. Right, Huskill. If I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, just let me know. She's a middling tier. I again go down there with Fisher, the Edward Fisher. Yeah, I listened to quite a bit of her stuff before this video was recorded. She specializes in Mozart, so automatically I probably won't listen to her as much because Mozart. Heard one piece, you've heard them all. Just kidding. But she doesn't bring a freshness to Mozart that I think it really deserves. Mozart should be both controlled and fresh, and that's a dichotomy that not everyone can get, and I don't think she did it. Beethoven's also a little bit rushed. That might just be me. Hoffmann. Zoop. Way up there. Just a little bit below Gould. Hoffmann, fabulous virtuoso, tragic story, just everything I'm a sucker for. Yeah, it's a pity that he didn't record more. Radio. Stephen Hugh. Did not expect Stephen Hugh to be on this list. I would have not put Stephen Hugh on this list. When I think of great pianists, I don't think of Stephen Hugh. Not to say I don't like his recordings, but it's better than Barenboim. This is Pollini. No, Pollini's over there. This is Kempf. Sorry, my bad. Kempf. Well, I'm going to give Kempf a far more favourable review than Pollini, simply because Kempf is a better pianist. Well, actually, no. Pollini is a better pianist. Kempf is a better musician. Kempf currently owns the second on my list of favourite Moonlight Sonatas. He's got the second best Moonlight Sonata, and I'll take that to the bank because, well, it's lovely. It's great when you take out an old piece, you dust it off. It's a warhorse. I'm going to put him at the very top of Good But No Paderewski. Kissin. Kissin goes at the bottom of middling. He occasionally has some nice moments, but it's weighed out by ugliness. It really is. I'm just sometimes the choices he makes leave me at a loss for words. I'm like, how does someone spend that much time practicing piano, that much time playing, and still fail to grasp music? Only sometimes. Zimmermann. Zimmermann was the first pianist I disliked out of any pianist. I never had one before him that was like, ew. His recordings of the ballades were sold to me as essentially the snake oil New Testament of Chopin recordings, and it took me so long to realize that this was Chopin that was suffocated under layers of tedious perfectionism, and it's a vapid and frankly pretentious way of playing. I don't like it. I don't have time for it. It's not good Chopin, and it's not good music. Sorry, Zimmermann. Lang Lang's getting better. He's getting better. I like what he does when he decides that the audience deserves to see him have a personality. The rest of the time, though, take him or leave him. He's overfed, overpriced, and overrated. But at the same time, I was going to say he shouldn't be on this list, but at the same time, he's one of the best hopes we've got for the future. Hopefully he develops into quite a decent virtuoso in the old sense of the word. Again, his Don Juan is excellent. It's almost up there with Berere. I'm just kidding. It's nowhere close. But it's good for these days. I put him at the top of middling. Leif Ovi Ansness. That's it. I totally didn't have to look that up. Either way, he's got a great recording of Schumann Fantasy. I listened to a fair bit of his Schumann, actually. It's pretty good. I'll put him below a Rao because, frankly, I'm already feeling bad putting a Rao down that low. It's just personal preference. Again, right, Lepati. This is a tough one because I don't listen to. I mean, a lot of Lepati's recordings are pieces I don't really listen to for fun, such as Chopin's waltzes. However, he's just good enough to be at the top. I mean, really, his Ravel, everything he plays, even stuff that I don't normally like to listen to, it's just solid gold. His Sonata 3 by Chopin, it's amazing. Maria João Pires, I believe. I butchered that, but you know who it is. So, quite a strong performer. She seems to be one of those people who are well-rounded. They take in an entire corpus of piano literature, and they do a very good job of it. So I'll stick her in the middle. It's quite from what I've heard, and with my own ears, you know, it's pleasing. It is pleasing. Michelangelo, he's a perfectionist, much like Zimmermann and Lepati for that matter. But Lepati had the special gift of being, highly original. I've got to put Michelangelo here. The difference is both Lepati and Michelangelo, in relation to Zimmermann, don't make you want to drink immense quantities of cleaning fluid. You know, they practiced for so long to bring original ideas, and they weren't so influential that everyone wanted to copy them. I think if Zimmermann wasn't the most influential pianist alive, at least in Chopin, I would say he'll be moving up to middling. But the fact is, everyone wants to play like Zimmermann. Everyone holds him as some kind of deity, which I think is, first of all, the wrong way to go about listening and playing. But it's in very poor taste. Why couldn't we just play our own way, you know? Not copy other people. Right, so, got you Chida. Just a bit of a firebrand when she was young. She reminds me a little bit of an Arau, and that's where she's going. I'm sticking her just below Arau. Odgen. Love Odgen. I love his Sarabji, most of the things he plays. What I don't love is how, I just suppose the word's bluntly. He plays bluntly, and sometimes that leads to a lack of poetry. I think you can tell in his recordings when he was starting to go downhill into madness and when he was at the top of his game. But you could definitely never tell when he was sight reading. His sight reading ability was phenomenal. For those collated reasons, I'm going to put him below Argreck. Pair here. It's got better ballads than Zimmermann. I'll give him that. He's one of those people who most of the things he plays sounds good, but doesn't have too much personality. I love personality in a pianist. I love something I can get my hands around. Something, that's like, physical, a presence. I'm gonna... do like some of his playing quite a bit. Goes above Grosvino. Actually, no, he goes above Maria there. So I forgot her last name momentarily. It's the post-rhinovirus brain fog, or well, not actually at the retreating end. So I might re-record this, I don't know. You'll see. Polini. Polini. He's just Zimmermann before Zimmermann was a thing, and only slightly better. Yeah, I just these two down the bottom, If you ever want to hear Chopin that makes you feel nothing, listen to them. It's not good. Lupu, rest in peace. He's a man after my own heart. He likes slow movements. I also like slow movements. The only difference is that he liked slow movements despite being able to play fast movements. I can play fast movements, but not very well. So, he is going right at the bottom of great artists. Make awesome sounds. Not because I have a problem with him, just because, I mean, this is a list of some of the greatest musicians of all time. I mean, I can't be putting everyone as high as maybe some people might think they deserve. I just think all the other people that came before him, I just like them a little bit more. Schiff. Schiff belongs here, I think, but only just. Schiff is... his trump card is Bach, and that's the problem. Because to play Bach, you have to, at least in my opinion, you have to bring out something alive within it, without making the music itself romantic. It's difficult, but that's the reason why Bach works on any instrument, is because any instrument that you can control, they have good control over, you can play Bach on, whereas you can't play romantic piano music on an organ very well, but you can play Bach on anything. You can play it on a theremin. So it really is down to the performer to channel that. So that's why I like Feinberg so much. Feinberg and Landowska and Gould, for that matter. I don't know why Landowska's not on this list. Perhaps it's mainly because she was a harpsichordist, although her harpsichord in some recordings sounds like a carillon. Right. I do like, for Schiff, his Bartok. Which is funny. Anyway. Schnabel. Schnabel is ascending just beyond Gould. Because Schnabel is not afraid to be passionate when it counts. Sometimes Gould is strangely austere when it comes to some of the most brilliant passages in Beethoven. I don't think Schnabel's Bach, from the little that exists, I don't think it's very good. That could be getting mixed up with something else. But head-to-head, Beethoven, Schnabel is so much better. Rackarandonov? Now I'm not hesitating because of which tier to put him in. I know which tier I'm going to put him in. I'm just wondering whether Rackarandonov goes there, there, or there. There's only kind of 3 spots. Oops. Go away, Sokolov. Frankly, I think that I like Rachmaninoff so much, but he's only a little beyond good to me, simply because of the repertoire. It's difficult to find a better Chopin Sonata too. 2 of the lists that are used marked him as the greatest pianist of all time. I don't agree, but I agree that one could agree with that, if that makes sense. Sokolov, great artist, makes awesome sounds. Where does he go on this list? Just behind Richter. Thibault, I believe his name is. Thibault, I very much like his Ravel. I haven't heard much else by him. It's probably my fault. But from what I've heard, he's boying Lupu here. Right, Triphnov. Well, luckily, we've mostly grown out of the long-haired, ghoulish-faced Triphnov. Gosh, that was horrible. He'll be in Don't Belong. Nowadays, he's more of a hipster, cool guy. Play hammer clavier not very well, but well enough. Kind of, I don't know. His list is fine. So, he's going below Haskell. Again, same trappings as modern pianists. I wish someone would teach these people how to phrase. Right. Hodovitz. Where should he go? I would say Hodovitz is tied with Courteau. I listen to Hodovitz more these days, but that's also because I listen to a much wider range of pianists. I used to be a little bit shut in. And finally, it's unfortunate because I forgot to add a tier for Yuja Wang. It should be S+, so to speak. I'm just kidding. Now, Yuja Wang goes there. I know. Zimmermann is a far better pianist and musician than Yuja Wang is. How am I justifying this? Well, Yuja Wang didn't ruin an entire generation, or rather 2 generations of Chopin players. She's just there's no polite way to say it, I'm sorry. Look, I've listened to her Hammerklavier. It's obviously a outstandingly difficult piece, but she prides herself on her technical accomplishment. Look, it was soulless, it was plodding, it was... there wasn't a note of phrasing. It's... She gives good dresses a bad name. What can I say? Either way, it's been Rackarandonov John. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.